Women's, what lie did you believe to be true about men that you discovered was false? Story 1. I've been told men get boners when they run. Since I don't know many men, my only family is my mother and all my friends are female, I fully believed it and never even questioned it. Spoke to a guy a few years later and mentioned this. Apparently men do not get boners when they run, and I got absolutely bullshitted. Story 2. My dad has the knack. Something not right about your housecar computer appliance dog? You don't have to explain, he's already fixed it. I genuinely thought this was inherent to men, because my dad makes everything look so easy. Story 3. I grew up in a household where men didn't find things cute. Was very surprised in high school when guy friends would say things were cute and actually mean it, not sarcastically. Still think about men finding things cute to this day. Story 4. My wife was really blown away when I knew how to cook. Matter of fact, I do all our cooking. She never has to do anything other than occasionally air fry some chicken nuggets or a corn dog for our daughter. I've realized as I've gotten older, most guys I know don't cook. Which blows my mind. Story 5. For a long time I was given the impression that a majority of men viewed sex as a degrading act upon a woman, even if they were the ones having sex with that woman, rather than seeing it as an act of intimacy or an expression of love. Turns out an extremely vocal minority like to paint it that way while claiming that all other men feel the same. Story 6. That there's a surefire way of pleasing a man, in every regard. Some sort of formula a woman must follow to be liked by men. It shouldn't be surprising to realize men are individual people, with their own likes and dislikes. Sure, some things please more men, and some things bother many, but number 2 men are the same. Shocking. Story 7. I know this may sound dumb, but I didn't think men could feel insecure. Every guy I know has an insane amount of confidence. I've never seen any male figures in my life show anything close to insecurity. I guess they're just really good at masking it. Story 8. That all men would be against me learning guy things like fixing my own vehicles or working a blue-collar job. Turns out, my favorite teachers and biggest cheerleaders in any guy thing I want to try are men. So thank you to the amazing, kind, supportive, wonderful men who share their knowledge and encourage women to learn important life skills. Story 9. Men don't have emotions. Bullshit. Men are very emotional creatures. They just aren't allowed to express most of their emotions, which leads to health issues, both mental and physical. Story 10. Not me, but a coworker of mine was raised to believe that men shouldn't show emotions. She wouldn't let her son to cry as a child or teenager and said she basically bullied him into manning up. She moved away from where she grew up and realized how fucked up that was. She said she really regrets treating him like that. Story 11. That men fundamentally don't care about romance and only desire sex in their relationships with women. Super cynical, pretty misandrist take, but being on social media a decent amount of the day and seeing degrading posts or comments about women from some of the guys on there definitely makes you believe men just hate women. But no, my boyfriend, recent development, is so fucking awesome. He's such a hopeless romantic like me, and I am so lucky to have such a lovable idiot in my life. Story 12. I grew up believing that men weren't capable of love. Like I actually thought all men who were in a relationship could not possibly love the person they were with. I met my husband in high school and he completely changed that belief. He showed so much love for me and was able to express that love in such a wholesome way that truly made me realize that I was so wrong. Story 13. That all men prefer thin women. False. I've met countless men who have genuinely no attraction to thin women. In fact, plenty of men prefer women who are slightly to moderately larger than average, and some men prefer women who are much, much larger than average. Beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder. Story 14. A lot of these answers are simply women registering with shock and surprise when they realize that men too are human beings, often with complicated internal lives. You can live in this culture indefinitely without being exposed to that idea. Story 15. I was always told that to defend myself from a guy to hit his nuts. Hubby informed me, veteran Army MP, that while it will hurt a guy, only a percentage will drop. It's just as likely to piss him off and make him want to attack you worse. There are better places to attack for a smaller person like me. Story 16. I straight up believed that all men's beards eventually grew the same. Like, I never thought about some people can't grow one. I saw it kinda like head hair. Sure, maybe it differs and changes as we age, but at some point we all have a full head of hair. Story 17. I grew up thinking all men around me and in my life will be evil and only want to hurt me. It messed up my view on the opposite gender so much I could barely stand alone in a room with a man without a panic attack. I'm now in love with a wonderful boy who wouldn't hurt a bug. Story 18. That we are predisposed into roles. It's such an unfair system for both genders. I really find a predominant theme in men is feeling pressured into fulfilling certain masculine roles that aren't necessarily relevant anymore. I think people are tired but not being offered clear alternatives. Life is hard enough without the pressure of trying to be something that mostly doesn't work anymore. I think we all benefit from offering grace to gender expectations. Story 19. My mom's first husband was very abusive, so she struggles with trusting men, including my dad. She always used to tell me that men only care about themselves and that they're not capable of love. It really screwed up my relationship with all my male family members, though a lot of them fit that description to be fair, and I've had to basically unlearn all the misandry she taught me. I still have to get on her a lot for saying things like that. Story 20. For the longest time I thought all guys stank. Like bad teenage BO stink. This is from talking to other girls during school. But it's been ages since I've been able to detect the smell on any guy. The only time a guy has ever smelled terrible is if they smoke, vape or use too much body spray or cologne. Story 21. Looking at my dad, I thought that all men are tough and don't ever get very emotional, but as others have pointed out, it's really not true, same with them being horny all the time, which is obviously not true. Story 22. That men can only pee standing up. I was absolutely mind blown when I had this conversation with my boyfriend and he had to demonstrate that peeing sitting down is very much possible for men. Was completely mind blown. Story 23. That they don't care, mother's impactful opinion. I've learned quite the opposite, they absolutely do care. Enough to lie to you even when the simplest truth could have saved them from drowning in all the blood of the wounds they inflicted. So that being said, I've also experienced the deepest emotional humility at the hands of amazing men. There's been a few that have been through my life that have truly held a deep impact and shaped me into a kinder woman, and I say help because still, even after awful breakups and being fucked over hard, I would never take back knowing theme. I also acknowledge that I owe some oz of my ability to love to the ones that loved me so deeply, even if for fleeting moments. Story 24. I'll list a few misconceptions my significant other had. She never had a man with good hygiene and she was surprised that I cleaned and pampered myself, which I was surprised at. She was surprised that I cooked and was good at it, and I loved to cook for us all the time. Something I think many women believe is blue balls is a real thing. I don't think it's real. I've never experienced anything of the sort. Story 25. Hollywood movies had me believe that the jocks in high school are ruthless bullies. By the time I got to high school, I learned that no, they aren't heartless, and yes, they are giant children. In every best way possible. I ended up being friends with a bunch of them.